Yo, what's up, everyone?
Yo, what's up? I gotta figure out how to fuck. I'm at a different spot. I don't have headphones over here. I'll turn my shit on.
Supposed to be professional, Al.
I fucking blew it.
Well, I don't hear any echo or anything coming back on you, so should be
Okay,
good.
good.
How's my mic?
Sounds good.
All right.
Gonzi, what's happening, man?
Peace.
Yo, Gandhi, where are you? What is this in the background? What are we looking at?
Not on the street.
I have a home.
Hell yeah.
Whose home did you break into?
Did you build that cabinetry in the background? Are you a master carpenter?
No, no, this was a Goodwill cabinet.
Damn, that's
And
nice.
yeah, and there's more records way the fuck up there
shit.
that I gotta find a book cabinet because I know you're not supposed to stack them like that, but you know, finding time. So
Yeah, that's a cool cabinet though. I like it.
yeah.
The most important question is, can I have it?
if you can drag it the hell out of here,
Yeah.
it's yours.
Hell yeah. Yeah. You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. You know what I'm saying?
It's so old that it has a CD thing, like a little tray like that slides out and it's got like CD
Oh, wow.
things in there. Yeah, that's how old this cabinet is. And then there's a TV in there.
If you had an A-track player, that would like hold it, that would be crazier. A-track, I mean.
When we moved into this house like a year and a half ago, I got my daughter a new bed. It's one of those loft beds where the bed's on top and like the desk on the bottom. And it had the CD trays in there still. It was a new bed. She's like, "What are these for?"
Oh, shit.
Like having to explain the CD.
What is a compact disc?
Yeah.
Is it a game? No.
I guess we'll give everyone a few more minutes here. See
Yeah.
what pops on.
Cool.
I didn't know how Saturday night was going to do, but it's a little, I know for me, because I don't have the full house of kids, just half the kids, it's a little easier.
Yeah, my kid is in the other room right now. And they got food on the way.
In the closet. Stuff them
Yes.
in.
In the closet, yeah.
You just hear the banging on the door.
Can I come out now? No. I'm workshopping. Trying to see if this thing even posted. There we go. There we go. Did it. I just tagged you guys in the post that it's beat drop night.
Cool. Yeah, I'm putting that in there. I still got to do my beat. I'm going to do it in the morning.
Oh shit. Yeah,
Same.
I started earlier this week. Then it was just crazy work week. And I got sidetracked with work, and they were putting a new like electrical box on the street, so the power went out, and then for some reason Maschine usually saves it, but it didn't save it this time, and yeah,
son of a bitch.
yeah.
That sucks. Mine's done. I don't know how I feel about it. But
Literally why I ain't finished mine.
you know what's funny, dude? Your fucking sample is from the 80s, technically.
What do you mean?
It's from 1980.
Oh yeah, it is.
You just
Well,
can't
still,
fucking you just can't help yourself, huh?
Got to do that to us.
Uh-huh.
But it was probably produced in 79.
Earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I'm sure
maybe in 78, you know?
yeah, they could have been working on that music for a few years.
That's true. You got us on a technicality. Judges?
Yeah. That's a little different than the 80s stuff I would usually use. I think the reason I started using so much more 80s is because I've been using the stem separations. So it's always the
Yeah.
drums and the 80s music that fucks everything up.
Yeah, I agree.
So I've been like, I just rated the whole Levert record. Shit, the samples are sick without the fucking drums in them, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's a high-pitched whistle in this one that I couldn't really get rid of in the part that I used. And I ended up using like this rack-mounted compression that I found inside a Guitar 6 on Maschine.
Hmm.
And it worked. You know what I mean?
Shit. Yeah.
So I used automation to like slide it. Like I'm like literally just with two knobs to like drop it down. First
Yeah.
off, to lower the frequency and then the dB on it. And it kept the low in though. And then I brought it back up during the rest of it. But then I additionally added a filter over top and then wrote the automation on that the whole way through.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah, I didn't know what to go towards, if I wanted to use the more eerie shit or like that one the stab pieces, but I ended up chopping up in that first initial one I did was that more upbeat part,
Mm.
which was kind of surprising, but I still wasn't happy. So losing it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah. Sometimes that's like good. You lose it, then you start over, and the second go is better.
Yeah.
At least that's happened to me before.
Um,
Oh, here we go.
yeah, maybe we should have given people more of a couple weeks heads up or something about this. I think we usually get like people coming in and out.
Yeah, I think like typically in the past it was like 6 or 7 people or something like
Yeah.
that.
Surprised Messi isn't here though.
Yeah, I mean we're only 7 minutes in though. They're probably going to be late.
Yeah.
Oh, however, we could make a post too and like tag those cats because
Yeah.
they probably forgot. I would have forgot for sure. I forgot actually a couple times on the way to this, but I'm glad I did. Plus, I was narrating like right up to the end. I had a ton of script to narrate to get to this point. And I barely got done in time.
Yeah, I forgot, and then I saw the post today. So
Yeah, sometimes that helps. I've forgotten before that we had to do the Beatcast. You know, like shit, I gotta fucking get home now.
Well, it's on my calendar we're on a different like week cycle than we were last time. So it's on wrong on my calendar and I haven't fixed it.
Oh, okay.
So it's showing tomorrow that we're having the Beatcast, but
No, mine, I fucking asked my phone what time the shit was going to start. It was like 6 p.m. And I was like, okay, cool. So I had planned my entire day around being available at 6 p.m. So 5 some rolls around. I saw your message where you were like, hey, the link is going to be there. And I was like, perfect time. And I'll be on in a couple minutes. And he's like, no, it's Pacific. And I was like, yeah. And then I asked my phone again. And then it fucking did it. I had to go Google it, and then when I Googled it, it was like, no, 8 p.m. And I was like, okay, yeah, just lost 2 hours, no big deal. Fucking Siri's being a bitch.
Yeah, that one's a big old jerk, dude.
I fucking hate this time zone shit. It's so stupid.
I think it's over for us soon, right? Aren't they stopping?
It's like, I think it's like
2
next, yeah, something like that. Within the
after
next
daylight
couple.
savings, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
stupid
that's
shit.
the last one forever? Or are they still going with it?
No,
I don't
it's
think
every 6
they-
months or whenever it changes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's still got to go through, fucking laws and shit like that.
Yeah, I heard that they're supposed to stop it, but they haven't officially agreed on it or some stupid shit like that. It's just dumb.
Does that come through the speaker? Or is
Yeah, I heard it.
Is it like you're picking it up through the microphone from the?
Do it again.
Yeah, it's not lining.
It's not lining.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I'm gonna try mine and hear
This
in a
one
second.
coming through.
Nothing.
You don't hear that?
Nah.
That's the next thing we got to figure out, like how to line in all our shit.
I fucking did it when we did the show the first time, like I was able to get it. Let me see if I can do this shit.
What if I click this?
Should be the same as my stream.
Oh, I bet you it's more like inside this program.
You have to do like a loop back.
I have that shit installed too, but let me see. I think when I did it, I had to use Zoom audio. So let's see.
Can you hear my voice still?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about this?
Audio. Nothing.
Taking my out from.
Device.
Good Lord.
Zoom audio. Let's try this. Can y'all hear it?
No. We're
Mm-mm.
some audio guys that don't know how to.
No, it's weird because this shit lit up.
That's why
Let me
this is the
see.
same. It should work just how I do like the live streams when I do my live streams. I don't know why it's not.
Same shit. Y'all can't hear anything, right?
Nope.
Mm-mm.
Fuck, I'm trying to remember.
Oh, you hear that? Oh, it's
No.
coming through that. Okay.
Let me see. Oh shit! It says that you disabled participant screen sharing. I was gonna see if maybe that
I'm gonna
would
turn
fix
that
it.
on. There we go. Should be able to do
Okay,
that.
let's see.
Check.
Yeah, we can hear you.
So I just don't know how to get my.
Okay, let's see.
I hear that. Yeah, clear as day.
Yep.
Okay, so all I did was in preferences.
Zoom audio device.
No, I didn't even do that. I think I've got it back to my regular shit. Yeah. For that, I did Zoom audio device. Because you can still hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. But on the fucking box for Zoom, there's an option for sharing audio from when you screen share.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
And then you can select it in mono or high fidelity. And I did the high fidelity option.
If you select mono, will it give you mono?
Fucking man, I remember that shit was around the time. Where's that fucking African disease that came out in 2009? It was like all around the same time. So I remember my ass was in school and they used to fucking spray down all the desks and shit every single day to make sure that all the pregnant bitches that I went to school with didn't get anything. It was very entertaining. Yeah.
All right. So this is good. Where
All
should
right.
we start tonight? Who has the first? What can we learn? Does everybody know how to stop a sample with mute?
Oh, yeah. And then if another thing, I don't know if anyone knows this. Y'all can still see my screen, right?
Yeah.
If you hold shift and you turn the wheel or like the selector, you can slow select. So I'll zoom in.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously that's a little bit faster. You can slow down yourself. But if you want a fine pitch, when you zoom in, if you hold shift and you turn, it does it slower than if you were to just turn the wheel.
Oh, okay.
Another thing is how you guys are talking about you apply everything that you do.
Yeah.
So I'll give you an example. Like let's say pad 16 right here. So I will duplicate it, hold dupe, go over to F, put it on F, and then I have it right here. So
you're
then
okay. You have
duplicate to 1 to 2. So yeah, I'll hold, the duplicate button that's on there?
it's next to 5, next to quantize.
Correct. So I'll hold duplicate. So I'll be on 1 right here, right? I'll hold duplicate, then I press 1, and then 1 will start flashing, and then I press 2, and it will automatically put it on 2. And if you see, can y'all see my mouse cursor at all or no?
Yeah.
Okay, if you see right there, it'll automatically put it to the next one. So if I hold dupe, right, I go over here and I'll select this. I'll hold dupe again, press number 2, pad 2 starts flashing, then I'll press 3. And then if you see right here, it puts it on 3. So now for 3, I'll go over here. Then I'll hold 3 or hold dupe, press 3, put it on 4. And I'll do the entire sample like that. So I'll go back to B just to give an example. And that way, if I ever want to edit my shit, I don't have to press apply for truncate, because every time you do that, it creates a new sample. So it will be like TB, just as an example, like the name of this, it'll put a line next to it and put 1, 2, 3, 4, and it eats disk space because every time you do it, it's creating a new wave, and wave is obviously like the fucking huge files. So if you're someone like me, this iMac has like 256 gigs or some shit like that. It's real small. So I don't have to do that, and the entire sample saves. So also, if I want to go back and edit it, like let's say I want to do it here instead, and 2 over here, and fucking 11 over here. Now it's applied. So now I don't have to go and change the beat. So if I go and I play the shit, like if I select all of the different spots, well, and then
That's your beat.
yeah, this is my bullshit. Again, I'm not in a place where I'm happy with it yet. But so I'll just give y'all an example. now? Okay, I fucked up and I hate it. Hold shift, undo.
Well, I'll be damned.
And you could still apply all the settings, like if you want to change the like the polyphony or the tuning or anything.
Correct. And you can do everything.
Yeah.
And now, so I pressed undo however many times. I didn't do it enough, clearly. But now, if I want to change the sample, for example, or like the tune, right? So I have the button under dupe, select. If you hold select and you press all on the top, you can control the entire thing at one time. So you don't have to, the button or select. So if you hold the select button,
Yeah.
and you press the white button at the top, right above where it says all on the screen when you hold it down,
Oh, found it.
you press all and it'll select the entire thing. And now, pad 5, 6, 7, 8.
And you have to make them in the choke group too.
Correct. But you can do that now without having to change anything. So if you go to pad mode, choke group 1, you have now put everything in choke group 1. So you don't have to go back and individually do it on every one. You can now, and if I want them all on 2, if I want them all on 5 or none, now I can play multiples at the same time. But now 1. I'm
So-
over here soloing shit out.
Hold on. So did you, before you duplicated to the 14, did you stretch it before you duplicated it 14 times?
No, so what I'll do is I'll chop it ahead of time. So like, all right, I'll give you an example. So we'll take, let me pitch this back to normal. Or fucking 1+. All right, so I'm going to duplicate. So I'm going to hold duplicate. I'm going to press 1, and I'm going to go over to my empty group, which is G. I'm still holding duplicate down. Then I press pad 1. Now that sample that we were just fucking with is on G. So now, so I'll show you.
I think he's asking, are you?
But
are you
so so what you were asking about, like pitching it, you can pitch it beforehand if you want. But like when I chop, I'll chop however it's set regularly. And then I'll pitch it when I have however many I want to do. Because sometimes it's not 16. Sometimes it's, 11 or 12 or whatever. But now, since I have it all selected, because I hold select and I press all, get out of the sample menu, go back to tune, add 1, 2, and 3. So I did it all at once, so I don't have to go back and individually tune each one. It's all in a choke group, so none of them are going to cut, like the next one will cut itself off. So you're not overlapping samples. And yeah, that's typically how I do it. If I want to apply like ADSR or ADH, right, I can do that.
So Ganji, do you usually use the stretch or like the audio to sampler track type trick?
Yeah, so I typically pitch down in the stretch section, not there.
I got you. I understand what you're saying now.
Yeah.
Yes, you can do that to the original one and then clone it. But if you do it individually, then you're going to get different stretch results, if that makes any sense. If you do it to the one that you want, though, like let's say you take the original, like you take your original sample right here, right? And I'll just delete the other 2. So shift, erase 2 and 3. So now we're back on one pad, right? If I want to stretch just this, so I'll make it hold longer. Then I will go to stretch settings. I'm just making some shit up right now.
Yeah. So if you do it this way, you have to like commit to your tempo, your
Yeah, and I think this is the issue that like me and Al, I think we're running into, because once we apply whatever, and especially once, like we make the stretch, then it's like we're kind of screwed because once it's applied, then it's like we can't go back and change it.
So my workaround for this whack ass option that's in here. Again, I talk shit about Ableton. I'll talk shit about this. I don't like the stretch option in here either,
Right.
because on FL you have the option. You could stretch anything that you want, but you can always edit it in the middle of it, at the end of it. It doesn't matter. You always have the option to edit it. My workaround for this, y'all can see the mouse and shit, right?
Yeah.
So the way that I'll do it, so go in a group. I'll give you a group that I've already used. So, okay. So I'll go in a group, internal.
Speak of the devil, here's Messi.
My bad. I will go to. I think it just said he connected.
I didn't know if you.
Yeah, I saw it do the check mark. I don't know if it actually went through though.
He's going to Carolina in his mind. Oh, Carolina. I'm gonna grab water while we're waiting.
Yeah, so it's kind of fun. You would just have to commit to your tempo and your.
See, what I'll
Right
show
on,
you
yeah.
right now is the workround for that shit, because I don't use the stretch option
Serato
at
sample?
all.
Yeah,
Nah,
or
I don't
Serato
use it.
sample.
See, I mean, I just recently went back to using Maschine, the sampler and Maschine, because I've been getting bored with Serato, man. It's just too fucking easy. Like I honestly, I feel like I've been getting way too lazy with it.
For me, conversely, I just don't like auto chopping anything. Even
Same.
like this, I gotta do it
Same.
like, I only want the pieces exactly as
Correct.
they pop in.
That's
Because
exactly how I am.
Yeah, I lose like the piece that it's like, all right, that's the part I want. That element of it.
You have that, but I get in to the point where it's like it'll give me something that I wouldn't normally fuck with. So I'll see what I could do with that. So I might come up with stuff that I wouldn't normally do, but yeah, it is nice when you have your section that you want to mess, your chop you want to use. This one, it's because that's when it comes to listening to the whole track beforehand. You get a feel for what you want to do. Whereas,
Right.
I'm gonna play with what they give me.
So I'll show y'all real quick how, I'm just gonna select the sample and I'm gonna let it play, and then I'll show y'all how I do it. So just that group. So audio unit. So now you can go in, because I don't know if you use Mac or Windows for your shit, but if you use Mac or whatever, anything Apple, you have like the GarageBand plugins that go with it. So you can use the GarageBand picture in order to change things. And if you want the menu, obviously you can see it right there. But so now I'll bring the drums in. So
How would you do this if you don't have Apple?
You're fucked.
you would have to use some other plugin. I'm sure there's one that's free to do this. And if you want to change like the there's an option for tightness and smoothness, and then the effect blend, you can change the pitch or whatever, and there is a spot that's off to the right. I don't know how you find it in this window right here, but on the actual screen, there's a analysis size, and you can turn that down and you'll get faster results. So like how you heard that there was like a little bit of a delay with it. And then if you want to change the original pitch, you go to sound, and let's say you want the sample itself to be slower, but you want the sample itself to be slower, but you want the pitch of it to sound faster. You can turn your pitch down. So I'll bypass it over here. So you still don't lose that part, but I will turn it out of bypass. Just as an example. But I don't ever use the stretcher that's built in the Maschine. If I do it, I use this, and there's also another option that's in here that kind of simplifies it a little bit more. You can go to Apple. You can go to new pitch, and it basically just breaks it down to these 4 and kind of the same shit. Like, but I control it through there because it does the entire group. And again, I can go back and then if I don't like it, undo, 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 undo. You just keep pressing it, and you can get back to the results that you wanted the first time.
I've never used the stretcher either inside of Maschine, but I haven't really seen. Well, like, how are you using it, Gonzi?
Inside the sampling screen.
Yeah. Did you say you do use it?
Yeah. So that's typically when I'm not using Serato sample. It's basically just sampling and then truncate, stretch, and then if I have to pitch down, I'll pitch down, and then apply to a group, and that's pretty much it.
See, I've done shit like this on the MPC back in the day, but I've never inside a Maschine. I've never like fucked with any of the, because like essentially you're just trying to get the sample to match the BPM, right? By stretching it.
Right. Yeah.
I never do that.
Another good way to do it is where you can do when you drop a sample in, it brings it in as, a sound sample. And if it only works if you have it in an even bar amount. So if it's like 4 bars, 16 bars, 8 bars, you can switch it to an audio engine and then change your tempo and pitch through that, and then switch it back to a sound, and it stretches it to where you need. And it's a destructive editing, but I mean, it works.
So I guess if we look at so what you were just showing us, Delvon, is that instead of going in and tap editing or tap slicing, basically playing it and just tap slicing it into the pads, right? And going through that whole process and then hitting apply and sending it to a group, you're saying go through I'm just thinking of your workflow. So you drop the sample in to, 1, and then
I will
go from scratch. Yeah.
I will literally show you. Okay.
I was gonna say, do you use like for like this? Do you chop down, or is this like a whole 3-minute thing, or do you kind of?
I've dragged the whole fucking sample in. I'll show you. So I go.
That's what I do too. I just throw the whole sample in.
Whole thing. So I'll drag it, and obviously, like, you can use the keyboard and select it and enter and all that shit. Whatever. Anyway, very first thing that I do. I will go.
Wait, what do you mean by that? You can use the keyboard to do what?
So if you have the keyboard right here, right? Like, you got your fucking keyboard, you can go through the sample. It's because it's going to be delayed because I have my fucking external drive right here. That's what I'm using. So when you have the pad selected, you can just press enter on the pad, or on the keyboard, like your actual keyboard, and then it'll automatically put it on whatever pad you select. So if I tap 13 right here, right, and I want to put fucking the last week's sample, then I can do that. And now, so I don't have to use the Maschine for everything. You can literally use your fucking keyboard.
Oh, that kind of keyboard.
Yeah, but if you have the other, like, if you have like a fucking Native Instruments keyboard like RTC has, you can go through and select them too. There is an option for that. But anyway, so I'll delete that. All right, cool. So pad 1. First thing I do, voice settings, legato. Then I go into pad mode, and I put it on group choke 1. Then, right here, so I'll zoom in. I will show you a super basic way. Full velocity, copy over to pad 2.
You know what sucks though? As you were doing that, and I think I know how to do that as well. But like you were adding it to a choke group, just for the sake of the recording as well. Because you said first off, you went over to Legato. We see it there at the polyphony. And
Oh yeah, and you guys can't see. I'm so sorry. Like my bad. Okay, I'm gonna erase it. So back on one for the sake of recording.
Yeah.
There is an option on the top of it that says pad mode. If you tap pad mode, it gives you on the left side of the screen. It says choke group 1, mode send, link. The only thing that I personally use is choke group 1. So when you start out, it'll be on none. So on pad 1, you turn it to choke group 1, and that will automatically group everything in group 1. So you can do it, because sometimes, like if you're doing drums, for example, you might want 2 hi-hats to cancel each other out, but you want your kick to always be able to come through. So if you're going to do choke groups in the same group, then you can do like a kick on none, so nothing will turn it off. But you might want 2 hi-hats to turn each other off. But you might have another set of hi-hats where you want those 2 to work independently, but you want the sample to cut itself off. So you might put the first 2 hi-hats on choke group 1, and then the other 2 hi-hats on choke group 2. That way they'll individually play, but the same sample won't cut itself off. Like if you're chopping a break, just for example.
So where do you show that in here? Like I know it's you see where it says group A1 and there's like the pad symbol next to the little if you click the pad symbol, it's like where's your
right here?
Yeah. So you see how this choke group down there?
Yes.
Oh, that's where you find that in the
yes.
I only know how to do it on the
there's like that's the thing in the software. Sometimes like there's a lot of shit that's just like, for example, if you're fucking browsing for plugins, it's easier to do it. You can do it through Maschine completely. Like you don't ever have to touch your mouse or keyboard ever with this shit. Personally, there's certain things that are just easier and faster to do with the fucking keyboard and mouse. But so yes, to everyone asking, you change, if you see where it says choke right there, you can change the amount. Like you can change the value of it basically. So I always put the sample on choke 1, that way I can edit it. So back out of that.
RTC, you said you only find it on the hardware itself, choke group?
That's the only place I knew where it was. I never knew where to find it within. I never looked that hard either, though.
Where do you find it inside of the hardware? Because I only find it through that spot right there.
So
pad mode.
Pad mode.
Yeah.
And then,
You might have it set, and I just thought about that too. Anyone that wants to know, you can have certain menus stay up permanently so you don't have to hold the button down. So, for example, like my select button, I have that so where I hold it down, when I hold the select down, when I let go, it automatically goes back to whatever menu I was at. You can set it to where if you hold select on the top left white button, if you press it and let go, it now will stay locked. So now select is a menu that will stay up. Do you see that?
oh yeah, look at that.
So that's how you do that on certain ones. Like select for me, I don't let that shit stay up. But for like solo and mute, I have those stay up.
On the hardware though, I still don't see choke group. So I'm
I know if you're on keyboard, like so mine is on keyboard mode, and if you deselect keyboard mode, then it'll show you the choke group. If you're holding down the pad.
If you right next to where it says fixed velocity, do you see that button? Al?
Yes.
Okay, so next to that button, there's a button that says pad mode. I'm also speaking from the plus, so I hope I'm not fucking anybody up. I know that it's not too much different as far as
same on
looks.
MK3.
Okay, I was just making sure. But if you press pad mode, then that's how you get the choke group option. But you have to have a sample that's in there.
There it is. Got it.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, if you don't have anything, then you don't, if I remember correctly, you don't get the option. But yeah, if you have something there. So back to the sample shit. So I'll show y'all like the most basic work, the fastest workflow, basic whatever. So first one right there. I'll hold duplicate, tap 1, it'll start flashing. I put it over to pad 2. Now pad 2 cuts off pad 1. So I'll go to pad 2, right there. Now they cut each other off. I'll go to pad 2, hold duplicate, tap pad 2, move it to 3. Go over on 3. Hold duplicate, tap pad 3, put it to pad 4. Now I'm on 4. Duplicate 4 to 5. So on. And I know it's a rough chop and shit. I'm not fine tuning it. I'm just showing very quickly.
You assigned all these to just show group 1.
Correct. Everything is automatically, because when you put number 1 in there, when you duplicate it, it duplicates the entire value over to the next one.
It's already got.
It's done. So it's done.
Yeah.
Now that I have all 16, I'll mute it, hold select, top button right there, where all is, I select all. Now, if you look at the screen, you can see, I'll show you. I'll press none. See, the only thing that's selected is the last pad that I tapped, which is 15.
Yeah.
I'll hold select, tap all. If you see, it automatically lit everything up. Now, I can go over here.
I'll be right back.
You're good. I'll go over, and now everything is tuned down, up. So, and if I want to change the type, so HD or ADSR, turn the decay down, turn the attack up, turn the release down. I edited the entire thing all at once, and if you look at you still have the same weight. But let's say I don't like the way 7 sounds when I go to record. I can move it closer. I don't like the way 10 is. I want to change it to this over here. Now, I did all of that without having to press apply. And if I ever want to change anything, I could change it right then. Like, I don't have to worry about pressing apply and the fact that now I have a new chop where it's just a specific size and there's nothing that I can do with it. Because I've seen people where they'll chop like this and they'll only take the note that they want, right? Like, they'll specifically take, so 8, that's all you can do. So now when you press apply, your fucking sample is 0.3 seconds and there's nothing for you to do. If you ever want to change it, you can only chop what's already there. So I just leave it like this. I don't touch anything. Now, obviously, if you want to do some shit where you run them, for example, I'm going to back out of this menu. I'm going to go to page 2. Now you have the option for reverse. Now what'll end up happening is all of them, because the only one that I edited was 8, 8's going to play from there. But now all of the rest of them are going to play from the very end because I put the sample in reverse, but I never tuned it down. So now that I selected this spot on 11, it'll play from there. And the one that I did on 8 will play from there. But if you want to tune it that way and you want to make the chop smaller, well, if you end up going this way, now it'll play from that specific spot. But again, I can go back, turn reverse off, and I don't lose anything. It's still going to be from the same spot. So that's why I personally don't truncate anything at all. Because if you do it, not only are you saving it as a new audio file, but you don't get to go back and edit it. With the way that I do it, I can edit anything at any point that I want to. And let's say I have a different idea, but I don't want to lose my shit and I don't want to save the file for whatever. I can press duplicate, hold it down, Tap A, make a new group for B. Now, B but I have B and I didn't lose anything. And again, I can completely go in here and edit anything that I want. And I didn't lose anything in the process. That's why I don't truncate anything. I just, there's certain shit where you can't go back and edit it. The only way that you would be able to do it is to drag in like whatever the specific chop is. But with this option, you always have the option to do what you want with it. And me, the other thing that I do is like, if I was going to save this, right, I'll save it. But I don't know if y'all know this hotkey. If you hold shift and you press save on the machine itself, so the file save button, it'll save whatever version you're at. So I will give y'all an example. Back to 12. So I have that, right? Now let's say I want to pitch the whole shit up, which you can also, if, I don't know if y'all know this, if you, the tempo button that's on the left right there, if you press it in and it lights up, you can pitch the entire group up or down. And on the screen, it will show you group tune. So now, so I can do the entire group at once without having to go and change it through here. But, so let's say I like that version. I can press file on the pad and there's a button up here called save copy. If you press that, this now changes and automatically makes it the next highest number. So if you had an original project file, it'll put a dash next to it and put a 1. I will constantly save new versions of it because if there's something that I don't like, I can always go back to the last version and recover it. Maschine automatically will save your project after a certain amount of time as well. But if you do this, you don't have to worry about losing it. And I've told y'all before, I'll show you something that I do. I have a plugin from Cradle called God Particle. This motherfucker is fantastic. It loves crashing my computer randomly. It loves crashing Maschine specifically. Like everything else will work, but it'll just randomly crash Maschine. Maschine will sometimes keep the project file with any edit that I've done, but if you save it the way that I'm talking about, you don't ever have to worry about it disappearing on you. Like you can always go back to the other version of it. And if you did something that you don't like, you still have the other version. So if you go back and load, this shit's in the way. You now have all of the versions that you've been working on. Just another tip that way, if y'all ever lose some shit, you don't have to keep everything in the same project file. I don't do that shit ever.
That's too many versions.
Oh yeah, no. And then I have a folder that I call numbers. So when I'm done with something, I'll throw the older number versions in that folder, and then the last one that I worked on, I'll keep. That way, if I ever have to go back to that file, it's there. And the file size, if I'm not mistaken, they're really fucking small. I don't think I have it up.
You guys using startup templates? I just started doing that, saving myself a lot of time.
Nope. I start an empty project file every single time.
Yeah, I have my shit that I usually go to, so it's easier, so much easier than searching through the drop downs and the plugins and everything.
That's fair. Like on FL, I have but even that, I have an empty template. Like when I use FL, automatically it'll open the empty template every single time, so it doesn't, because I know with FL, usually the motherfucker will open a limiter and like a bunch of other shit. The way that I do that one, it's empty as well. No plugins, no nothing, start from basic. But because sometimes I'll start with drums, like for example, with this one, the one that I just showed y'all, that one, I started with the drums and kind of formed the sample around it. So but I don't have the same routine for every time. Like there's plenty of times where like I'll start just with the sample, do my thing, and then add drums to it afterward. So I don't have like a specific way of doing everything that I do. It just depends on what's going on.
Yeah, that's why I wish they had a plugin stack where you can save a plugin stack. So it's like I know I use
Got you.
EQ this compressor on my kick, you know, that sort of thing.
The way that you could get around that is if you did like just as an example.
I think you can save a group. Like I do that for my because I do parallel compression, and I have a whole group saved that I run my drums through, and I think you can do that.
Yeah, the save as option. That way, when you press open,
Really? Okay.
yeah,
Oh,
and
shit,
it'll
okay.
automatically save that group layout. Again, I don't have the same routine or formula. The only thing that I use consistently is this plugin right here, but I do it at the ass end of whatever I'm doing because it's so fucking inconsistent. There are times where I can use this thing for hours and I will not have a single crash. There's fucking beats where from beginning to end I can do it, not have a single crash. Then there's other times this motherfucker will crash every 30 seconds. Like there's no consistent. It doesn't matter like if I'm doing nothing at all on my computer. It doesn't matter if I have the fucking web browser up. Like this is just inconsistent, and I've gone off on them about it because it's not a cheap plugin. This shit, contrary to popular belief, I do pay for some shit. This is one of them. I think this was like $135 or some shit like that. So it's not the cheapest thing in the world. And I know some people are like, yeah, it's not that much. Whatever, eat a dick. But you can save that as a way to do it, or you can automatically like you could save like a I don't know, a project file with like all the shit that you would want in it, kind of how you were saying, and then every time you open that project file, your plugins will be the way that you want them to be.
Yeah.
But like he said, you can also save the group to where if you wanted to go ahead and I'm trying to remember. There was a way to do it.
Parallel compression. What is that?
It's basically like there's like it's basically running like a compressor like through your auxiliary instead of like it's hard to explain, but like I'll see if I can find the YouTube video I found on it, but it's like similar to like side chaining, right? I think.
Yeah.
They call it like New York compression is like the other word for it. Yeah.
So
with parallel, you can kind of you can play with your original uncompressed sound with the compressed sound. So makes it. That's how I see parallel.
The way that again, just have this one up. The way that I'll show it on here is like sample right here. I will go to limiter on the sidechain option because my kick is pad 1 on A. So the way that I would do that is on C, which is the sample for the limiter, pad 1 on group A. And you can turn up the gain to make it cut off stronger, turn it down. You can change the frequency of where it's at. You could have it filter and change the width of it, but you also have the two different options for the transparent option or the legacy option. So just to give you all an example, sample. You hear how it's like cutting it off now? So you have the option, and then if you go back to the other menu, you can delay the release of it, and you can also turn the threshold of it up or down. So here how it's like cutting it off completely now. That's another like really fast way of being able to do it with control over it. And if you want to go back to the next menu and you don't like how much it's cutting it off, you hear how it's not cutting it off as strong anymore. But if I go and I turn the gain up, it almost mutes it.
Interesting. I've never used any of that shit. That's crazy.
You can also do it through the compressor with the same shit. You would select it as pad 1.
That I do a lot.
Obviously, it's hot as fuck because I'm turning it up crazy. But you can do it through there. If you do it through the limiter, though, it doesn't. It won't make your mix so spicy. You kind of have. You can control it a little bit more.
So,
But
I mean,
yeah.
you think it's more beneficial to sidechain through the limiter in that way?
Yes, 100%. You have a lot more control over the way that it sounds.
Because
But that's just me.
okay. See, I've been sidechaining the way you have it there with the compressor, and I always switch classic to feedback. And then I would go over to the sidechain input and then select my kick, right?
Mhm.
On the sample one, though. So I would put this on the
Right.
sample. And then, I'd mess with the width a little bit. But I did notice that of course, you're compressing the fucking sample.
Right.
So in order to, because I also put a compressor on the master track over all of it.
Right. So you kind of like get that fucking super punch to it.
So therefore, I should probably just, instead of using the compressor, use the limiter and then go to the side chain on the limiter and add this to the sample. I would put this on the sample.
Correct. So I did it on the group of the sample. So again, back on the limiter. And then I'll mute it to give you an example. So it's still a good volume. Just as an example. But you don't, and if you wanted to make the other way that you could do it is stack it. So if you wanted your sample to be a little bit louder, let's say you feel it's too behind in the mix, right? So I would move the limiter to the bottom to make sure that we don't have any issues where you have peaking, right? But you can go to the compressor, again, very quick. I know someone's like, well, you could just turn the volume up for the group or just the same. I know, I'm aware, but this is just a fast way of doing it. You can turn the output up on your sample. So again, I'm going to just play the sample. I'll pitch it up so it's a little bit. So I have the volume turned up on the compressor. And now, if you see, we're not having to worry about peaking over here. There's no issues where it's getting too loud. But if I just turn off, even if I set this back to the default state, minus 3 dBs, right? I'll turn the limiter off. And same shit, you go over to the compressor and I'll play the sample. If you start turning the threshold up, and you, depending on what you're doing with it, you already know you'll start running into peaking issues. You know what I mean? So that is another way of being able to control that while still getting the volume that you want, but it'll make your mix cleaner so you don't have to worry about shit going too high. Just another example.
Well, damn. That's interesting.
Anyone else got any tips?
Trying to think of.
It would be cool to see, okay, so we kind of have Delvon's workflow. RTC, because you incorporate slice a lot, right? Or
Sample, yeah, Serato sample.
Yeah, he uses Serato a lot.
Yeah. Trying to get away from it as much. Yeah.
So I do have a question. Why do you use the Serato simply for the stem separator?
No,
is that why you do it?
Before that? No, I was using it before that. Just because the easy tempo match, beat match, and the chops and everything, all that. It was just so much easier using that, and because using machines, obviously, there's a lot more diving in there, doing a lot more, and chopping stuff up. It's so much easier in Serato. It's just kind of like the cheat code, you know.
That's fair.
Like that. Hold on. I showing. Do you guys see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the machine screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let me know if you actually hear it.
No sound.
I didn't ask me if I wanted to. Hold on.
You might have to change the
There's
thing
sound.
to
There
the Zoom.
While you're doing that, do any of you guys ever like put the sample in, run a high pass filter on one, put the sample back in on another channel, and run a low pass filter?
No, what I'll do, because you can just clone the entire group and do one thing to the group and another thing to the group. And you can also copy your patterns. So like if you want the shit to line up exactly, you
Yeah.
can just copy the entire pattern over so you don't have to worry about losing anything in the process. So, like if I just like, let's say kind of like you were talking about, like if you wanted to do a high pass on one, for example, if I wanted to clone it and then filter it to use the bass notes, I can do that, but also keep the exact same pattern so nothing is moved around.
And how do you do that?
You literally just hold the, there we go. We can hear you.
Cool.
Yeah.
The way that you do it is you just hold duplicate and then you just copy whatever. So like, let's say group C was your sample. You would just hold duplicate, tap C, C will start flashing, and then tap D. And now you have cloned everything with all effects and all of it moved over. The only thing it doesn't move is the fucking pattern, and you can copy the pattern as well and move it over. So you don't, so it is the exact same. So now you can have, and mind you, you can edit it individually so you don't lose any functionality of it. You don't have to press the apply button, so it's not saving new samples. And you can do whatever you want on 2 versus 3.
Okay, you have to show me that maybe in a minute.
Okay.
Because I'm a visual kinesthetic and
No, I understand. Same here.
I can switch back over to them if you want to look at it.
no, go ahead. You go
Okay.
ahead.
Yeah, I've actually been doing the whole trick I was talking about earlier. Like you bring in, like I brought on this one here. So it brings it in. Obviously, this is 80 BPM one, but my project is 88. So then you could just switch this from sampler over to oops, it's internal audio. So it'll give you
Yep. Yeah.
and then so that gives you the correct tempo, and you could change the tuning and everything on it, you know, whatever.
Yep.
So and then well, it's not showing me. There we go. So then if you want to drag it, you could drag it to another track. Hold that, drag it here, switch it back over to sampler, and now you got it
Now
there.
you can edit it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to just use the hi-hat from the thing or whatever, like the third hi-hat, you could specifically add it to the track.
So that's one way to do it, get into the time and change it to any. Put it from there. But
Yeah.
you want to look at Serato. So with Serato, over here.
You know what? I'm an idiot. So when you did that, you pulled the file, that 80 BPM Vard swung, right?
Yeah.
Where is that? That's a one shot? I mean, it's a loop, but it's a one shot?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's just a loop. So it's at, so let me just start over. So let me just grab one of these other ones. This one's 84. So I'll drop it in. It drops it in as a sampler engine. And then you change it over to the audio engine.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this
And
is
now
where-
it'll
yeah.
line it up.
So this
Okay.
is what'll line it up at the correct tempo.
Now that's beneficial. Like, 'cause I never use breakbeats or any like pre-loop drums. I always just, I pull in the kits and I fuck with them.
Yeah.
But if you were to do that, right? If I throw in a break
Mhm.
and I want to chop it up, it would behoove me to then create a group, drag this in, and then go to internal, switch it to audio, and then I can adjust the BPM and it'll stay with the tempo of my song.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah.
No matter what, you can turn in on the fly. If you went to if you tap the fucking tempo button on here, you could turn the tempo up while you're playing it and it'll match it. You could turn it down while you're playing it and it'll match it.
So is it smart to do that then with the sample? Like if you load in the sample of the week, and
Well,
It would have to, like, the sample would have to be time matched, but it would also have to be like
So I'll throw a regular sample.
yeah, like it would have to be a pretty accurate sample, if that makes any sense. Like in order to do it. I fucking hate auto chop. I can't stand it. But I also know that some people enjoy it, and I also know that some people will use the option like RTC was talking about, where I think you said it, where you tap chop, where like it plays a sample and you just tap it for every spot that you want to cut. The shorter it is, the more accurate it'll be.
Oh,
Yeah. So this one I brought in a music one here. So it's 78. Obviously not the right tempo. Change it over to audio, and it'll stretch.
Do you see how it lined it up? You see how like all of the chops are exactly where they're supposed to be? It does the entire thing.
so
Yes.
then if you change the tempo, it's going to slow this down.
So if he turns it to 144, for example, you hear how it's like on? He could just keep going up and it'll still never changes a pitch, and it'll match it every single time.
So okay, so if you were to do that, because I never do this, so if you were to do that to the sample of the week that you're going to make a beat out of, you switch it to audio, you go internal, switch it to audio, and then you match the BPM that you want.
Yep.
And then you were to go into sample and then start.
Well, first you have to. You see this little where my mouse cursor is. This little I don't know what the hell they call that.
You got to wiggle it.
Button it's on. You click it and hold it, and it exports it.
Yeah.
And then you drag it where you want it. Now it brings it in. So that's the new beat match file, and then change it back over to sampler, and now it's.
Wait, do that again.
Hold on.
So that's essentially like stretching it, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so it's using the stretch. It's a
Great.
different way to do it.
How long you known how to do this? I didn't know you could do this shit.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah,
either.
and
This
it'll
is
make
new.
it a that like the way that he stretched it, it'll make it into where now he can chop he can chop it like it's a new sample.
Yeah. So you press that, you hold it, and then you just drop it wherever you want it.
Did it again. You press what? You press what?
Remember this cursor?
Oh, you know
is right
why?
here?
I can't see it because the.
Yeah, you got to move. That's what I was gonna tell him. You got to move where you can see us.
There we go.
Can you see it?
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So click and hold this right here,
Got it.
and then keep holding it, and then drop
Oh.
it wherever you want it. Since I don't need this anymore, I just replace that.
Okay.
But if he wanted, like, let's say he wanted number one to stay the way that it was, but he wanted to chop two, like, let's say he wanted to put it on pad 2 and then do like the chop thing that I was talking about, he now has that option.
Yeah.
So now it's there, but he can change specifically pad 3, which is what that would be on, to a sample. So now he can edit it through the rest of the pads, but just on that one.
Yeah.
So
So
hypothetically speaking. Okay.
So if we throw it back on sampler, now I can go in and chop
can
it up and
slice it?
do what I want, and slice
Okay.
it and do what I want.
And it'll
So-
keep the same tempo, the way that you heard it, like how it was the tempo, and chop it down and all that. He's allowed to do that now.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So,
All right. So let's say you took this thing, right? And you threw it in. You did the thing and you switched. Let's just pretend you wanted it to be 80 BPM. You
Yeah.
made it 80 BPM. You clicked that weird squiggly guy over there. You dragged it over and dropped it, and it replaced the file. Then, because now it's 80, but then you went to how does math work? 8 plus 8 is 16. So then you go to 160 BPM.
yeah.
And you dragged it over and dropped it on a new one. Will you have one at 80 and one at 160?
Yeah.
Holy shit. So then you can fuck around and make a beat, and you could be changing the tempo of the sample back and forth. Oh man, okay.
That's actually what I do with Serato sample a lot too,
Yeah.
because you can double or it's
It's
a
just
lot
easier in
sample.
Serato, basically. Yeah.
So I'll show you what you could have done in Serato sample with the same like
I mean, I'm gonna do because I don't have Serato sample, but I will totally do that. That sounds pretty easy to me.
yeah. So then
Yeah.
you can go in and chop it. Now it's time stretched to where you want it. You can go in and chop it up, and it's all time
I've
stretched. But
never
the problem
time
is, with like let's say we're doing one of our Beatcast ones, you have to find the piece that you want and make sure it's in equal 4-bar measures. Otherwise, it's not going to do that for you. Whereas Serato sample will do that for you.
That's what I was saying about the length of the, like, if you have a fucking 4-minute track, it's not going to be accurate unless that 4-minute track starts perfectly and just fucking ends that exact way through. Because it'll start losing. You'll have parts in it where it loses the tempo. Because naturally, like if someone's playing a song and shit, there's variation. But if you have something like what he's showing you on the left hand side right there in the browser, where it's accurate and it's on beat and it's already matched, then you get the most accurate results with it.
Yeah, let me go to something that's not like just one of these where it's one. So I'll just drop that one in there. So you don't want to do that audio thing because you don't exactly know, how, let's say.
I was going to say, if you drag in one of the Beatcast samples, just as an example, that'll be.
Hold on. Yeah, let me do that. And move you guys over.
Because most likely that shit is already like BPM matched with the one that you're playing right now is already BPM matched.
So there it is. Okay. I'll drop in this week's here if I can get. So now since this one is, all over the place and you switch it over. So this is. So now I've never actually tried it with this long. But
yeah, you'll get super fucking inconsistent results when you try it this way.
Yeah, it's 265 bars. It doesn't say, I don't know, man. It looks like it might have. It might have done it accurately. Because it says it's 87, so that sounds about right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You might get lucky sometimes.
Throw your metronome on so we can see.
Oh, it's not a bad idea.
To the right.
Yeah.
The link.
There. To the right there.
Yeah, I never have it on.
Because it's still got like the tail on the beginning of it. And then you also, I did that. I didn't mention it on purpose because if you try to throw something in that's longer, generally speaking, because if you have like a tempo change or any inconsistency at all, you don't really get to control like what's going on.
See, but what I was thinking is using the fucking thing that you're talking about, right? If you go in and you're adding sounds to each pad, sort of, it reminds me of the MPC, the 2000 XL, the way I would do shit on there. I've just never approached it that way on this son of a bitch. But if let's say I have pad 1 through 16 all filled up with a bunch of samples, then you could, in theory, just grab one of those guys, do that thing, right? You could just do the audio thing and then drag it back over. And now you've got it. It creates a whole new, just of that chop though, or will it do the entire thing?
If you just select that one, then it'll just do the entire thing.
Wait, what?
Like no, you're asking if you did just like, let's say pad 16, for example, you dragged it into the squiggly thing and then you brought it back over and you did that, it would just do it for pad 16. It doesn't do it for 1 through 15. Correct. Because you're just doing it for the one. But if you did it on, like, let's say you cloned let's say you did the duplicate thing that I was telling you about, where the same shit that we just talked about, you turn pad 16 into that same thing. If you go over and you duplicate pad 16 and put it on group B, on pad 1 of group B, that new option that you just asked about will be across all of the pads.
Interesting.
For group B.
Okay.
So let's just, so you're saying this is on sample, these are on samplers. So if I would just change one to audio, it's just going to change that one.
Dude, this would be pretty powerful then. You could do cool shit.
You can do a lot of shit.
Yeah.
All right.
So, and then, so if let's say I was doing the same thing over here in Serato sample, the cheating way of doing it. So you just drop it in, it automatically gets everything for you.
Let me see what it says for the BPM. It doesn't always get the BPM, right?
Yeah. This one says 119. Might be off a bit, but when I do the chops, like I don't worry too much about.
Yeah.
out that anyway. So like I just do hit random and it'll automatically give me my random.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. Or I'll do find and then I'll adjust them from there because usually
Where they were. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, you have to
Yeah,
So
man, that's crazy.
what I like to do on this is
That is
like
crazy.
I do this a lot where I stretch it out. So it's got the the halftime to stretch it.
It also doesn't sound like super aliased either. That actually sounds decent for it being like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stretch is good. Yeah, on it.
Yeah, because I think the stretch option when you do it on the on Machine, like if you start stretching it pretty far, it sounds alias as fuck. Like it starts sounding really like grainy. This sounds really good for you have changed for the fact that you changed everything.
Yeah. If we want, I mean, the drums are barely there, but if we want,
Yeah, you turned it off on the fly. That's dope.
When I used this though, I had a hell of a time with like using this for some reason.
And you can you can reverse individual pads on the fly. So if there's like one sound you want to reverse, you can hit the reverse on it.
Yeah, I see that. That's a trip.
so just the drums.
Just the drums, yeah.
And then how do you apply it to the okay, let's say you like what you've got. How do you get it into the machine on the pads?
It's already on the pad, so it chops it up and it lays them out.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does all that shit. So now, like, he has 16 pads of everything that you're looking at.
It's like a VST, basically. It functions like a VST. So he's gonna have to play it out, and it'll play like almost like a keyboard or a VST.
And that's what I was gonna say. So the crazy thing is, so if you see he's got that where it has, obviously you see more than 16 pads that are on the bottom.
Yeah.
If you're playing it on a keyboard, all of those go to a key. But if you're playing it on the pad, I think it plays the first 16, but you can change what it plays back.
Yeah, you have to octave up, like shift or whatever.
Because when you do it through there, it's like it reads it as like a MIDI note, if that makes any sense. So you can change which one. So if you do the octave up, then it'll give you the next 16. You know what I'm saying? But if you have a keyboard, then it will map that entire thing to the keyboard.
Yeah. So if you just wanted, I didn't just fuck it up.
Boo.
God damn it! Now. I'm just doing whatever. Because the chops were kind of weird, so I wouldn't have messed with kept those, but
Right.
yeah. So it didn't have to apply anything, it's just there.
Do you get latency when you use this?
No.
Okay.
No, it's dead on. Like,
It'll take some time if you're doing the like if you have something a little bit more intricate and you're doing the stem separation, it might take a minute or two to kind of get the separations to catch up.
Well, fuck. How much is this thing?
It's on a monthly payment plan.
You could do monthly too, yeah.
Yeah.
Do they have a perpetual
was
license?
the Plugin Alliance or something like that? I think is where I got it. No, I got it on Splice actually.
All right, we need to get him to sponsor the Beatcast.
Absolutely.
Well, we had the Serato. Messi got it.
That's true, yeah. Messi, you won that, yeah. Was that a perpetual deal that you got? Is that a for goodsies?
Yeah, it was a perpetual license for Serato.
Messi,
Yeah, it's still live.
It's until
Yes,
we
it's
turn it
still
off.
live.
If you stop supporting us, we're just gonna turn it off.
I was about to say.
Hey, do you use it a lot? Do you find yourself using it?
Me, not actually. I messed with it a couple times, but not really. It's cool, but I kind of stick with the Machine and Logic, and then live.
See, because I have tried this.
It's cool though, but I mean, I really haven't given it.
Yeah, he got the license for the DAW, the Serato Studio, not the Serato.
Yeah, I don't have the sampler. I don't have Serato sampler.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's built into the studio. but he can't use it as a VST though.
I think I got the if I remember correctly, there was like a trial because I know at one point I used one that looked very similar to this and I thought it was really cool, but I wasn't able to do it with Maschine, so I was just like, whatever.
I just started using the Rip X. I just downloaded the free they have like 7-day trial on it, or maybe it's 21 day. And it'll actually separate it down to the fucking instrument, man.
What is it?
Rip X. It'll separate it down.
Let's see if I can get my illegal copy of this real quick. Give me a second.
Just get the free one, mess with it for a while, and
AI DAW.
because I could
see
take out
this.
the hi-hats. Like if I just I was creating hi-hat loops out of it.
Yeah.
Insanity. That is
On this particular
crazy.
track, you know that high pitched whistle that's in the beginning?
Yes.
I don't know if it's the beginning, but this part. As it picks up a bit, it's like
All right, I definitely got
I heard it
it.
the first time. I don't hear it now.
put it there, but towards
Yeah, I think it's a little bit later.
Okay.
scroll
But yeah,
forward.
this is so. Let me some 80s shit there.
I've been lonely way.
So if I want to get rid of those 80s drums,
Bree shows up and shit. He's like, "What's up, motherfucker?" Speaking of Bree, here.
so you see it's catching up on the
Yeah.
taking out the drums.
I've been lonely way too long.
That's so crazy that you could take out the drums like that.
Immediately. Yeah, it is a trip. Maschine got some catching up to do to Akai.
For him.
Yeah, I was using RX8 before this, and it takes
Yeah, me
like,
too.
so long. Like you have to, and my MacBook would be like smoking, trying to like
Shit's like on fire. You're just like, we're almost
try to,
done.
yeah, try to stem it out and everything.
Yeah.
This does it on the fly.
Yeah,
That's so
so
wild.
so Serato sample just makes things a lot faster and a little easier. I mean, you
That's
can
fair.
get the same shit other than the stem separation through, Maschine sampler, but just you have to jump through a few more hoops.
Yeah. That's fucking crazy.
But yeah, the Rip X one, man, like that's fucking nuts. Like I haven't had
So-
to play around with it.
I see I'm on the site right now and I'm seeing like the breakdown and everything. This shit looks crazy.
So is this a monthly subscription as well? You were saying you have to like continue to pay for a Serato sampler.
Or you can buy it outright. Either
yeah.
You
or.
can buy it out, right?
It's basically a
Yeah.
payment plan. You pay rent to own, basically type thing.
Gotcha. Does it offer like different features down the way, like kind of like Slate does? Like you get like different add-ons. Is like does there other
Well,
plugins, VSTs that like come with it with that subscription and stuff?
no, it's just that subscription, but it's like it didn't have stem separation up until like 3 or 4 months ago, maybe longer. So that's new. So it's like all the updates you get with the
Gotcha.
See, that's the thing about them. Like they update their shit very consistently, but I don't feel anything different whenever I upgrade Maschine at all. Like they'll put out a new patch or whatever, I'll do it, and then
Yeah,
doesn't.
a new logo.
yeah, I was just about to say, you get a fucking new logo
yeah.
and nothing
Oh,
different.
right.
And then even with this, with the plus, like, man, you get a new update like every 4 to 6 months or some shit like that. And I mean, I don't use it in plus mode, so someone will scream at me about how something got better. And it's like, yo, there's like fucking no new features, though. It doesn't do anything better than it did before, is my point. So
yeah. So
I
this-
saw that you could fucking put, like, it says right here that you can put background images there to match the fucking grid of the music. That's
It is-
insane.
It does a lot more than I would ever use it for. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
You can or you can't?
Yeah, no, we can hear.
Okay. So like keep this.
Fucking insane.
So if you just want the fucking hats,
Yo.
What the?
to get the break out of it, it's fucking. It sounds a lot better than all the other ones.
And it looks good too, and it said like the aliasing is just like non-existent.
Yeah, and the vocals.
Walking on a cloud, feeling high. It
Damn.
happens every time. Whenever I'm with my guy, tripping on love, and it feels so good. I can't help
Dude.
myself.
Yeah. I was gonna try to do as much as I could with it before the trial.
Holy
Is
shit.
this a pay plugin?
Yeah, it's not
Or is
a.
it like is it its own DAW?
Yeah, it's its own software, and then you can actually export like you could change. I don't know how to do it yet, but you can get the MIDI out of it and add another instrument, and you can.
Holy shit.
I wonder if this is what KDEF. Do you ever follow KDEF?
Yeah. No, so what's crazy about that guy, apparently he wasn't doing it with this. He was using EQs to do it.
Oh, okay.
I thought
this
that
one-
motherfucker is something's wrong with him. I'm like, how did you break all of that down with
He has-
just EQing?
Yeah, he has like the cleanest ISOs, and I was always wondering how he did it.
Yeah.
You can actually move individual notes on this, so it's
Holy shit.
you can move it up.
Yo!
It's crazy, dude.
Yeah, you can grab whatever note and fucking move it wherever you want.
That is this shit is insanity. I see that there's two versions of it. There's a regular version and then there's a pro version.
How much is this?
That's what I was trying to find out because it just says it's free for 21 days, but it doesn't show you. I'm trying to
I think it's still in beta mode.
buy pro. All right, let's see. Let me see if I can get y'all an answer.
It's gonna be like $1,000.
That's what I'm waiting for this shit to be like. What? Okay, so you could try it free for 21 days. You can buy the regular one for $99, or you can buy the pro version for $198. Why does that not seem anywhere near as expensive as it should be?
No, this should be a fucking like $1,000 program.
That's what I'm saying.
and people.
And
would-
then
No. Don't give him any ideas.
you guys aren't charging enough.
yeah, so 25% cross grade discount. So if you own some of the other versions, you get 25% off. If you're a student, educator, or an institution, you're eligible for a 50% educational discount.
What if you've been institutionalized?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've been to prison.
Yeah.
What about that?
So how would you, like, what do? You would edit that and then you would just save a version of it and then put that in?
Yeah. So you could separate whatever you want out of it. You can have however you want it separated. You can export that.
So does it export out in like stem separation?
Yeah.
Or just like one single wave? Like if say
It'll-
you took everything out.
Oh, so it'll be single wave. So it'll give you like the kick, the bass, the
Oh wow.
yeah.
You can, but if you want to group it as well, there's an option for that too.
Yeah.
So like if you wanted, I don't know, if you wanted just the drums and the fucking bass line, for example, you could
Right.
do it that way. Or if you wanted the drums and the bass line, you could do it that way as well. So you can group them or
that's fucking-
separate them. This shit is
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks like it.
It's scary.
There's so many samples where you're like, yo, if I could just get rid of that horn.
Yeah, exactly. I was just about to say, like, there's some shit you just don't want to hear in it. Like, the rest of it's dope, but
Well, how many
yo,
times have you been listening to vinyl? It's been like, man, if that drum break was open, like
Yeah.
that would
Yeah.
be
Oh, yeah,
killer,
that
you know?
and now you have the option. Like, there used to, and I can't remember what it was, but back in like 05 or 06, if I remember correctly, Sony made a plugin, and it was just a stem separator. Again, this is like 05, 06. That shit, if someone can confirm at some point, if I remember correctly, it was like a couple $1,000s for stem separation back then because it kind of did like the algorithm AI thing, but during that time period, it cost a lot, and then you got a lot of aliasing in it too. Now, some
If I
tracks.
remember right, I think it was only like you can only pull out the vocals. Like,
Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
like it didn't have like a lot of options for being able to do shit. Like if you had a super clean song, you could kind of do a little bit more with it, but if you did something that was like a little bit dirtier or the quality wasn't so good, it would only give you certain options. But again, that shit was thousands of dollars during that time period. This fucking thing, you could see what recording studio they made the track in, and it's a WAV file. But this shit is $198 for the most expensive version and $99 for just the one that everyone would use. So that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, and you can do a VST of these now. I haven't figured out how to do that yet, but
You probably, I'm sure when they give it to you, there's like one of those like VST3 files or whatever, and then you just copy it into your plugin folder, and you can just do that. But to open this shit as a VST and to be able to control it that way, yo, this shit is a game changer.
no, this is
is
right here.
fucking
This is, like,
insane.
you could change the sounds.
And then you can like replay it yourself or something, or just change
What
it.
the fuck?
How many fucking sample packs are going to come out with?
Oh man, yo, I think I might have mentioned this before. Fucking Prot showed me there is a website where it will make you a sample pack based on what you type in. So if you type in like dirty ass 90s
Yeah, he
sample
showed
pack,
me that shit too.
fucking crazy, isn't it? Yo, that shit is
yes.
wild. And
Super
it's
wild.
like, and when it gives you the packs, like you would think that it sounds like super robotic and shit. It sounds like an actual fucking drum break you've never heard before. Like you can make it sound like super dirty. They have like cleaner sounding ones depending on what you type in. And every time I've heard someone generate it, it sounds completely different than the other person. So that first day when Prot was showing us that, there was we're all in a group, and him and 3 other dudes that were in the group kept posting like, we typed in this, these are the results. He was playing that shit, all the breaks sounded completely different. But they were all these dirty ass, like grimy, fucking super powerful breaks that they were playing. This AI shit is, man, this shit's crazy.
Yeah, that
This
shit is
fucking
super wild. Super wild.
fascinating.
He was saying that there was like an AI, like he was telling me something about something similar to this, an AI that would split and separate each instrument of a track as well. I forget which one it was, but he was talking to me about it. Something very similar to this, but it was all AI generated.
Shit is crazy, man.
Well, Gonzi, but I guess because where are we at now? Hour and a half. Would you be down to show us kind of like your workflow so we could kind of see?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I think the only thing I could probably add is just the showing like, which I think. Trying to think. Let me see if what I have. Where is the share?
You have the TPS reports?
TPS reports. Let me move this over.
Now you got that shit in my head. Corporate account speaking.
Can you guys see?
Yeah.
Let me see. Where's my loop back?
Yo, I'll be right back. If I have to, I might have to join back in. But I'll be back, y'all.
Let me see. Can you guys hear?
Yep. Here.
So, yeah. So like, the thing I was gonna say was like I always for my drums I always have this like separate channel here, and I save. Where's it? Go to group and then open. And then I have this group, this NY compression, which is my parallel compression group. And I always run my drums through there.
Trying to hear that, or are you just gonna?
Where is this? So if let me see if I can solo this. Just to show you guys this. Okay, so yeah, so basically, if in this menu here, the auxiliary menu of my actual drum, so I have the group where I have the compression, and then I actually have my break that I chopped up, and then if you go to the auxiliary, so it's actually under sound and then output and then auxiliary, and then I switched the destination to that compression group.
Okay, so that's sending it to C1.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Which is where that parallel, where I have my compressor.
Mhm.
And so if you listen to it, hold on, let me move this back. And then, so you can see if I turn it down, like,
So it's like a bus, like essentially like a bus, right?
exactly. So it's basically that's my drum bus that I run it through. And then I probably still have like a whole bunch of other stuff that I run it through as far as like my master chain. Like I use like, saturation, and then I still run it through a limiter and all that kind of stuff too. But that's what I do, and I have that saved, that group saved, so I always add that New York compression drum bus.
See, that's something I never thought about doing, is auxiliary channels like that, just because you don't really think of doing that within Machine, because the way it's set up as a DAW.
Yeah. And so now that I think
That's
about that, I can, and I usually do typically the same chain for like my samples. I'll do like, I'll use Neutron, for my samples. So I'm thinking I might end up saving that, and then I'll use like a Ozone, the imager, to kind of give it some like width. So I might also do that, but I'm thinking I could probably save that as well, because I think you can save any of your groups and then just kind of have like some sort of a template. I know I have a mastering chain in Logic, or mastering template, that I have saved in Logic, and anytime I'm gonna like master something, I'll export it from Machine and then open up that project, that template project in Logic, and then just kind of work off of that and then tweak stuff as I need to.
Can you save the master group as well? The template in the master group?
It's a good question. I know what I did for this was basically I write, so you click the group and then you can save as.
Okay.
And then it'll save the group. But I think for the master, I don't know where you would.
There's not really a master group.
Yeah. So any of your groups, it looks like you can save them.
Yeah.
Save your groups, but you can't save your master. So if you have like a particular chain that you want, as far as like plugins for either your samples or for your drums or whatever, it looks like it'll let you do that.
Yeah.
And then load them later.
I need to start utilizing that, because it's so much easier than
Just dope.
Yeah. I've never used any bus stuff before, like in this thing. I feel like I'm using the Machine at like a 2% level.
I'm using it at 1%.
Yeah.
I'm using it at 1. Seriously. RTC like showed me like one little knob, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm a fucking idiot."
Well, I was like, remember, blown away in our first Machine roundtable, the shift mute,
Yeah,
and the choke, that was a game changer to me.
Excuse me, you can stop the sample from playing.
Like, that blew my fucking mind.
Get shirts that say shift mute on them.
Yeah, that's what we need.
Yeah, we were all blown away by that too. It was like a whole bunch of them. They're like, shift mute? How the fuck did you do that? Who was that showed us that? Was it Dose that showed us
that? It was
that?
Dose, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you guys don't know about shift mute.
But yeah, so that's interesting. So with, we're here, so we might as well. So with the bus stuff, right? So how do you, like, if you were to go from a new session, how do you set up a bus, and like what would be a best case? You don't have to give us your secret sauce, but what would be like a best case use of like a bus?
I mean, like I said, for pretty much I use it on like everything on like and then it's just a matter of like how much as far as like that, if you remember, like I was kind of like adjusting the volume on it,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like to taste kind of thing, you know, like how
It's
much.
basically your wet dry knob.
Yeah, exactly. Like how much of it, you know, does this particular thing need? Now, the issue can be like, especially if you're using brakes, you're basically applying it to that whole thing, to the
Yeah.
kick, the snare, and the hi-hat. So you have to kind of be careful. You can also apply it on a sound level. So I can apply it to when I am actually playing out my drum, you know, or my kick, snare, everything individually. I can apply it on a sound level and then only like apply it, you know, I could apply it at different levels to like just my kick, you know, maybe I wanted it going to my snare at a lower level. So you can do it at a sound level or a group level, however you want to do it, you know, kind of thing. So that makes it a little bit, you know, more user friendly.
Is it sort of like taking like, you know, and pardon my ignorance, but is it sort of like taking a bucket and you're just going to throw a bunch of spices in this bucket, and then all like the drum, like the brake is just like, you know, a steak. You take the steak, and how much you're dunking it in the bucket is how much of that bus, everything that's affecting that bus, is going to affect the steak.
Um,
And you're sort of like if it's too much, you volume down, but it turns all the effects that are assigned to that bus down at the same time.
I'm trying to think because I mean, I know like I don't know. There's something about it because I've done regular compression, like just adding a compressor on just the standalone group.
Yeah.
And there's something about doing it, running it through this separate compressor that I don't know. Like, and again, like I've watched, like I found out about it, like just, you know, through watching YouTube videos and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just something about it that it makes the drums just knock harder, like for some reason, and it's like a tried and tested technique by a lot of producers and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So if you're going from like a different musical, but not necessarily in Machine, so think about it like say you have drums and you have your bass and your string rhythm section, so to speak.
Yeah.
Like if you take all of your drums and you want to bust that into one sub mix, and then that would go into your stereo mix. So you would have kind of control over your entire drums sound. That's one way of bussing, if that makes any sense.
I feel like
I probably just made it worse.
Right?
I might have made it worse. RTC would probably be able to explain it better, but I just fucked it all up.
Well, in the Machine, so since I haven't used it in Machine, so is it like a auxiliary send where you turn up the amount sent to that and you still have your original signal coming through on group B, and then you're basically
Okay. So here's another way to look at it. So if I play it, you see it's still coming through.
Okay, so that's basically what you're doing.
And I can adjust the volume, like I can make it louder on the compression side, or I can make it louder on there, which I typically make it louder on C. Now, typically what happens too is I have, like, when I go to export it, I have two different stems. I have the compression one, which is one version of it, and then the the actual B stem of it. So it's basically like a layered drum or a layered thing of it. But when you put them together, it sounds fatter, so to speak.
Yeah, so there's like two ways to do it. Like if you think about it, Al, like he was saying, where you're copying group B to group C and you have two levels now, but you're compressing this one and not compressing this one, that sort of thing, and you can kind of blend the two together. That's what you're doing. So, but this way, it's if you make changes to B, whatever changes are going to reflect over to C, so you're not doing it twice. It's you could think about like if you're using reverb, because lots of times when you're recording, you use it on a reverb. So you have your vocal, you're sending to the reverb that's on C. You're only you're only getting a little bit of reverb. You want to adjust the volume on that reverb, how much reverb you're getting, and then you can also help. So at least for me back in the day, like using DAWs when you didn't have much processing power, you
Mhm.
you couldn't have 10 reverbs.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah,
have the one
exactly.
single reverb. And so you could send 10 different tracks to that one reverb instead of having a reverb on every track or a compressor on every single track.
Oh.
You just have that one compressor and you could just make changes on that one compressor and it's, all the sounds sent to that are going to be affected.
I mean, that makes sense. I guess I just don't understand. I guess I never thought about using it inside a machine. You know what I mean? Like that
Yeah.
I've done before for vocal engineering for sure. I just never thought about using it in the space of making beats.
Yeah, it's super clever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never did either. But that, yeah, it makes a lot of sense though.
Yeah.
Because cool. I think we've just gotten I think the industry, the way we do things, has just gotten where everything's just in line now on the track, and this is kind of going, doing it how you're really supposed to be doing it.
Yeah. Well, damn. This was a good fucking session.
Yeah.
This is like kind of the best one we've done yet. Shit.
Yeah.
Well, fuck.
Yeah.
I'd show you guys what I'm doing, but I think you'll look at it and be like, what the fuck? Why doesn't he do this? Why doesn't he do that?
Well, you do your tracking out. You're fucking weird, man.
Is it weird?
It makes sense, but it's weird to me. But like, it makes total sense the way you do it.
I definitely want to like add, some of these techniques that we talked about tonight because I feel like, especially lately, I'm like, damn, there's more. I could dig more if I knew a little more, if I had the knowledge. But
I think it's one of those things where we're a little older, we have a little less time, so we're going to do what we know and just get it over with, and we don't experiment like we used to.
Repeat. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like get the shit out, get it done.
Yeah. I will try that. I think one of the things I'm going to take away from here is that thing, because I was never sampling that way, where he was, like adding section by section to the different pads manually.
Yeah.
And which is great because then you can always go in and adjust. It seems like if you do it that way, as opposed to apply all and then the motherfucker's stuck that way,
Yeah, it's kind of the old school way of doing. Because when I was first using MPC, that's how I would do it. I would, have the different sample on every track. I'd never used MPC's chop.
Yeah, I never used chop. I mean, shit. The last time I used an MPC was the 4000 MPC 4000, and so that. On that though, but that way you could edit on your computer, and then you could, because that was the one you could plug in. You could actually send the files to your 4000 and then assign them to the pads, which is pretty cool.
Well, that's what I would do too. I would use SoundForge and cut up my chops.
Yep, SoundForge. Yeah,
and then just throw them on the floppy and put them in. That's how I used to do it.
Dude, Kordek used to cut up my samples for me, so I didn't have to. Kordek would sit there and cut up the samples, and I'm like, because then he didn't have any of the equipment, so I was like, I'll tell you what, let's make a deal. You can use all my shit, but if you chop the samples, he's like, oh, yeah, fuck, I got you, man. I was like, all right, this is great.
That's why it sucked back in the day when you had like a bunch of drums that you loaded into your MPC from the floppy, and it was like such a pain in the ass to switch them out. It's like, okay, I'm using these drums.
Yeah, fuck it. These are the ones I'm going. Yeah. And then, of course, somebody was always like, "Yeah, I think this was Kanye's floppy disk. They left it in the studio or some shit." It was always like some rumored kit.
Yeah,
come on. But yeah, shit, this is good stuff. Messy, you want to show us your process?
Oh no, you don't want to see any of that.
That's how I feel too. I'm like, I don't want.
No. I came in here to learn. So
yeah,
no, seriously. I mean, I have some fundamentals of the stuff that I do, but the machine is still a very foreign object to me, except for like finger drumming and shit with it.
Yeah,
that's kind of it.
It is an interesting thing. It's crazy to find out. Like I thought there was only one way to do it, and to find out there's all this other stuff, better ways, really.
Do you guys, as far as like, so for doing like live sets, I was gonna ask you guys because like I did a live set and I had to completely go away because I'm on the MK2. And I know one of the things that so I have a little mini DJ controller, and I use like DJ software. It has like effects and stuff on it. But one of the things that I think Soy does is basically will export his whole beat and then create scenes within the machine, and then kind of create like start and end points within the certain beat within the scenes, and then kind of play them out that way.
That's it. So it's like a long. So like he has the whole song tracked out as one audio file, And
Yeah, like the whole like 90-second beat or whatever. But I think he may even have like like instead of having one beat per scene pad or whatever, I think he may actually have like a one beat over like 4 pads, so that he can kind of have
switch up and change.
switch up and
That's
stuff like
dope.
that. Yeah.
Bad idea.
So I'm trying to think of like, I know a lot of people are on the 404, and I'm just
Yeah.
like,
That's what I do. I just throw it all on the 404 and then pretend that's what the knobs do.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck I'm doing on there. I'm just,
I know.
As long as
It
you
looks
look like
cool,
you know
though.
what you're doing, that's
Yeah.
all that matters.
Yeah.
people look at it, they're like, "Oh, that guy knows what the fuck he's got that shit down pat." Fucking
Like just overreact more.
yeah. Completely turn it off on accident and turn it back on.
Right. You're not even though it looks like you're chasing your delay knob, but it's not even on. You're just off.
It's sitting on top of your phone, which is plugged into the audio. Yeah, that I do want to use the MPC because I do want to get the standalone version eventually because I'm using the MK3, but not the Plus. Delvon uses the Plus, but I think that would be cool to use the Plus at some point and play.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too.
That'd be tight.
He brought his
kinda wish
Plus to the show, right? The last Beatcast show.
He did, yeah.
I wonder how he was playing them off there. I didn't notice what he was
I
doing.
kind of wish I would have gotten the Plus over the 404 person. I mean, but now I'm getting really used to the 404. So
Yeah.
I kind of wish I would have gotten the Plus because that would be nice not to just to be a standalone.
The 404 is cool though. It's cool.
It is cool. It is cool. I mean, I'm actually glad I got it.
It is kind of cool. It's like it has plus you can change the knobs.
I definitely like the actual whatever the workstation when you connect with it and how you can change each session. So have you guys noticed that part of it? Like you have one, you could like one will have all 4 or all 16 banks that you could have, and then if you go to 2, you could create a whole different set. I don't know if you guys have noticed that before. When you if you use the app like on your computer with it, I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, I've only looked at it a little bit, but I haven't dove in. I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, you can change. So you have if you just go to 1, I forget offhand right away, but let's just say you have 1 and you create this whole entire set. You maxed out every single bank, but then if you go to 2, you could create something else. But you actually have to connect with your MK to have it loaded currently, so you can't just like live have it as one. Yeah. It has to. You're setting it up. So like let's just say you're creating 5 different sets for 5 different show dates, and like I want to use set 5 today. You could just click on, and all those things that you set to all of your banks and patches or pads are all there every single time. It's pretty cool.
That is cool. Shit, I was gonna say
404 one next.
Yeah, I'm only on 1% of that as well. So
I just know how to load the files on and play and fire them off.
Yeah, I was gonna say
really tried to make a beat yet.
I've seen I watched a YouTube because I was like I said I'm being on the MK2. I'm like, because it's 500 for the 404. I'm like, or should I just go straight to the Plus when I'm thinking about especially doing live sets.
Yeah.
And I was watching a YouTube video on making beats on the 404, and I was like, this looks way too complicated. But the DJ mode seems like it's probably easier than actually trying to make beats on the 404, right?
Yeah. I've seen Zilla. He used it in DJ mode at the last live show, and it was fucking crazy. It looked. I mean, it sounded great. It looked pretty simple. He's like going back and forth because it splits it down the center. And then you could it's like kind of like turntables, whatever. It's almost like how it operates as like a fader or some shit. But I don't know. I haven't used that part of it, the DJ mode inside of the MK, or the MK2. But that would be tight. Hey, I was gonna say, I think because me and you linked up during this after we already set up the show, right? Are you gonna be in town during the Grand Avenue thing?
On the 16th?
On the whatever that date is, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, you should just because now that do you have a live set that you could play?
Yeah, I can do a set.
Take my spot because I don't have shit set up anyways, and I was already just telling Messi at his show, I was like, dude, I don't think I'm gonna play because there's only so much time allotted, anyways. Because we only have so much time. If I'm not gonna play a set, you should play a set.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure, dude. Because I'm gonna be busy anyways. I'm gonna be hanging out, yip yapping, and fucking kissing babies and shaking hands.
Okay, yeah.
whatever you have, just bring it. Plus, I think
Okay.
we might have more time, so maybe I'll still have time to like jump on something. But it'd be better if you got a chance to dive in with everybody instead of. Were you planning on going, or did I just obligate?
Yeah. No, I was gonna go. I was gonna go regardless because I wanted to just kind of meet everybody and stuff. So yeah, I was gonna go regardless. So
Yeah, bring your shit, man, and
Okay.
we can jump on.
dope.
But shit, should we? What do you think? Should we wrap it up?
Yeah.
And because we have more to learn, but we could.
Yeah.
This is almost 2 hours. We should do another one.
Cool.
I'm
All
gonna
right.
practice.
Yeah, I'm gonna I'll chop this up and clean it up, and then we can have the replay up here soon. Figure out where we want to put that.
Cool. I just want to. If you're gonna keep this recording, I just want to say, Bree, you're dead to me.
All right. Take it easy, everyone.
All right, gentlemen.
All right.
Later.
Thanks, guys.